Joining us now for some headlines of today's newspaper from around the world is Arise news analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Great Malabite. Action.
Good morning, Rufai.
Good morning, sir.
Doing well. Good morning, Ayo. Yes, let's start the review with this day Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, again, Buhari warns foreign missions against interference in Nigeria's politics. Says nation working with ECOWAS to secure region, halt coups. Spain to collaborate with Nigeria in insecurity fight. Confers posthumous award on late envoy Seriki Silva seeks help to tackle insecurity in oil sector. Yes, once again, the president warning diplomats to stay clear of Nigerian politics in their utterances and actions. Well, it's a no-brainer, you will say, for diplomats to know where to draw the line. But we have seen in the past, but in those days, which Rufai, you mentioned, the days of Walter Carrington, they were unusual days.
Yes.
When we're battling to rescue the nation from the stranglehold of military juntas who did not want democracy to take off. Of course, remember Walter Carrington and some other envoys then, they took a stand. But even at that, you say Walter Carrington, not a career ambassador, was a political appointee, as it were. But clearly, the warning is timely. But again, when nations breach their own rules, the international community will come in. But we have everything in place to run a clear, free, fair, and credible election. And we hope the level playing field will be provided. President Buhari has reassured often and again that he will deliver a credible election before he leaves office and hand over to a successor. And that is what Nigerians expect. Now, the warning to the diplomats, timely, welcome, but we have our own job cut out as a nation to do things right, so that the international community will not have a reason to come into Nigeria's affairs. Now, the Guardian newspaper, banks Defy CBN, continue issuing old notes. New banknotes still scanty. Only 1 out of 9 banks in Boko issuing new notes. In Benue, new notes treated as souvenirs. Kano customers tackle cashiers over mutilated notes. Long queues at ATMs paying new naira. Apex Bank kicks off sensitization program. Now, this issue of new notes is becoming a problem. Now, is it the banks that are refusing to dispense these new notes, or the banks don't have enough of the new notes? But you ask, those who sell the new notes at Owambe parties, where are they getting them from? Certainly, they don't go to CBN to get those notes. They come from commercial banks. So the warning from CBN, I don't know how that will resolve the issue, but we have a deadline. That is even the more worrisome issue. If on that day, we still have so many old notes all over the place, what is going to happen? But CBN has its job well cut out. Desensitization that it started a couple of days ago, I don't know how that will solve the problem if the notes are not coming out. If the ATMs are still dispensing old notes. So it's an issue the CBN has to tackle if this policy is not to flop or put Nigerians through unnecessary pains and torture in the name of currency redesign. Now, the Nigerian Tribune newspaper, PVC Collections, INEC bows to pressure, extend deadline. Yes, because the INEC was on the verge of disenfranchising people who already had their PVCs produced by the commission. So there has to be an efficient way to ensure that all those who have been so captured, their PVCs produced, and are willing, ready to collect their PVCs, do so. So it's up to INEC to make the process easy and speedy at the same time. Well, they've gone to the world level. I remember in 2014, when I collected my PVC, then it was done at the polling unit. You just go to the polling unit where you are to vote. They will have displayed the names there. You know your PVC is there, and you collect it. But we just hope with this extension of the deadline and smoothing of the process, many more Nigerians will collect their PVC ahead of the general election, which is just about 40 days away. Now, above the masthead of the Nigerian Tribune, Obasanjo denies writing UK on forthcoming election. Now, the Nation newspaper, millions of uncollected PVCs forced INEC to shift deadline. Now, above the masthead of the Nation newspaper, The Nation, troops killed 50 terrorists in 3 weeks, says Defense Headquarters. Yes, the war against terrorism is still on. And 50 terrorists killed by troops of the Nigerian army. Of course, kudos to the military for carrying on the fight, but the war is not over yet. Still, the terrorists still very much everywhere. In the northeast, which the president said he has delivered, they are still killing terrorists there. So, tells you that work to be done. Can everything be sorted out? As the president promised that he will improve insecurity substantially before he hands over to the next administration. So we just urge the military to continue doing a good work, but the job is not done yet. Not with widespread insecurity still across the country. Now, the Punch newspaper budget deficit rises 370%, hits 47 trillion under Buhari. President to pass on $15.62 billion Eurobond repayment to the next government. But I hope the presidential candidates are taking note, because we don't want to hear excuse. Oh, the magnitude of the problem left by the last administration. Every person, every candidate aspiring to be president should take note, and I hope they have their economic team in place working to hit the ground running. Because about the state of, the parlor state of the Nigerian economy today is not a secret. So nobody will say tomorrow when you become president that, oh, we never knew it was this, the rot was this deep. No. Daily Trust newspaper, Tinubu Atiku Kwankwanso Obi scramble for Kano's 5.9 million votes. APC banking on Buhari, Ganduje, others. PDP relying on Shekarau. Work against me and regret it. Kwankwanso warns Ganduje. Why Kano is the bride? Professor Fage. Of course, we know Kano has huge votes, second only to Lagos. And the political gladiators in that state are evenly spread across the three major political parties, if you will. APC has Ganduje, the incumbent governor, although he almost lost his re-election, but for that Nasarawa local government magic, as it were, that led to a rerun. And of course, PDP has Shekarau, Ibrahim Shekarau, former governor of that state, while Kwankwanso and his Kwankwansia movement firmly on ground. So Kano playing the beautiful bride. Of course, the Kano electorate will make their voice known on election day. Now, The Business Day newspaper, tension as Nigerians scramble for PVCs ahead of post INEC extends collection deadline. The Vanguard newspaper, petrol scarcity lingers as private depots sell at 240 naira per litre. Shortage may continue till June. Ipman, queues increase in Abuja, Lagos. Others, 7 private depots reopen. Regulators not at filling stations as commuters pay high fares. This is what I don't get. We spend billions to subsidize. Now, you cannot get at the price, the regulated price. So what is happening? Also, we go back to, yes, the Vanguard newspaper. The story beside the photograph. Herdsmen destroy 30 hectares of cassava farm in Ondo. You know what that will do to food scarcity or the high cost of food. Ondo, when you talk of Gari, a staple, a common staple in the country. From that axis, Ugbogui, a place, yes, in Ondo State, it's like Ugbogui is in Edo State. It's like the headquarters of Gari, all around that area. That is where they bring most of the Gari people eat in Lagos, apart from the Ijebu Gari. So,
which we are known for in Odogbolu.
Yes, in Odogbolu. Now, that's your homestead, Rufai. Now, if herdsmen are destroying 30 hectares of cassava farm, then there's a problem. Herdsmen are destroying, bandits are also destroying people's farm or preventing farmers from going to their farms in the north. So, you see why we're having problem with food inflation. Now, the foreign newspapers, quickly, the Times of London, millions more offered chance to take statins, yes, new guidelines after witty warns of heart risk for middle age. Yes, there's a change. Statins will not be offered to anyone who wants them under the new NHS guideline. Yes, the change of approach comes after Sir Chris Whitty, the chief medical officer for England, warned that thousands of middle-aged people were dying of heart conditions because they did not get statins and similar medicines during the pandemic. So under the new, these new guidelines, those many more people, anyone with a 10% or higher chance of a heart attack or stroke will be given statins, which is a drug that lowers the cholesterol in individuals. So, good one there. Now, the Wall Street Journal reporting inflation pace slows for the 6th straight month. That's in the U.S. U.S. inflation eased in December. And following a mid-2022 peak of almost 9.1% then. Now, December, 6.5% down from 7.1% in November. Two things seem to be looking up in the U.S. Rufai and Ayo.
I think it's the front page of one of the papers, Vanguard, that says scarcity lingers as private depots sell for 240. So the question is, what is happening? Is this what we're paying subsidies for? I think there must be accountability in the system. And this has been on since the end of November last year. We've literally had a scarcity since the end of November last year. It lingered into Christmas. No official statement apart from the number, we have 1 billion more than enough liters of petrol. In fact, the DSS even tried to intervene. That was the first time I saw DSS trying to intervene in fuel logistics matter. I don't know, maybe DSS now have tanker trucks.
It's like they gave up.
But they gave up after 48 hours. They're saying 48 hours ultimatum. But after 48 hours, nothing changed.
The situation improved slightly following that, and then it went back to...
And that means they failed. They failed.
Anyway, it's not their duty to distribute fuel.
So why did they even go to...
NNPCL.
So NNPCL is supposed to distribute it. Then we have continued like that. There's still fuel scarcity as of today as we speak in Lagos. 240 in some areas is 300.
Yes.
So where are we going in the country? And nobody deems it fit as a national emergency to be able to talk about it.
And we're spending money
and
to
the
subsidize.
And the president is the Minister of Petroleum.
He has a Minister of State for Petroleum.
The president is the Minister of Petroleum. When it comes to petroleum scarcity matters, we should be able to ask who is the Minister of Petroleum. So what is the president saying about this?
Or doing
About this as the Minister of Petroleum?
Not just talking.
Because I'm talking to the Minister of Petroleum here. We can't build a country this way. And everybody, you see, Nigerians, we are so acclimatized to hardship that it becomes a way of life. Now, going to queue in filling station 5 a.m. in the morning has now become a way of life.
My problem, Rufai,
I know people don't complain about it.
Where is this subsidy going into if we are not seeing it at the filling
But
station?
here you go now. That's where the subsidy
on the
into
flip
pockets of
side,
persons?
as we have to go. But on the flip side, can we just say that then it shows that Nigerians are ready for subsidy? As long
subsidy
as
removal.
Yes, subsidy removal, sorry. As long as you can assure us that we'll get the product, we'll be willing to pay the amount of money. Maybe this is a test for us to see that indeed it is time for us to bite the bullet and remove subsidy.
But in Ikoyi, we are buying for 170.
All right, thank you
with
so
plenty
much.
queue.
Thank you, Mr. Madam.